We know so many of you are struggling financially. Staying home sounds like a luxury, but it is not if you have lost your job and can't pay the bills or the rent or the mortgage. There is some government help on the way and lots of people will qualify for it. But the fact is, before this virus ever arrived, many Canadians were living well beyond their means. And now, as David Akin explains, it's crunch time.
Canada has hardly ever been a nation of savers. Canada is a nation of spenders. And the choice by Canadians to be spenders, not savers, has left millions of Canadian households anxious and vulnerable in this once-in-a-generation crisis. For most of the last decade, we have been spending what we earn: new TVs, new cars, new homes, and if our earnings were not enough, we borrowed. And why not? Interest rates have been stuck at generational lows. Job growth had been strong, so strong that unemployment also touched generational lows. The COVID-19 crisis turned all of that upside down.
The issue for a lot of Canadians is that they have no savings. They live paycheck to paycheck. They might have a bit of money in the account that'll get them to the end of the month. But if they're off work for a month or two, they're in serious financial difficulty.
And that has put into stark relief another number that has hovered near generational lows: the national household savings rate. For the last decade, Canadians have barely saved 3.5 cents of every dollar of disposable income. 3.5 cents to the dollar.
There's always something that I need to pay for my business, some supplies to order, or an event like a market to pay for.
Megan Rose is self-employed, an artisan. She supplies boutiques and gift stores across Canada with what she makes, and her business has dried up.
So I've never been able to save money with my business. I also have a mortgage too, so just the high cost of running a business and the cost of living has never allowed me to save any money.
Indeed, almost 1 in every 3 Canadians, or 31%, say they have less than a week of savings or no savings at all to rely on. That's according to a poll by Ipsos provided exclusively to Global News. Just under 1 in 4, or 23%, say they have 2 to 4 weeks of savings, while another 1 in 5, or 20%, say they have between 5 and 13 weeks of savings to draw on. That partly explains why the federal government focus has been on replacing income rather than protecting savings.
I don't have any savings. I do have a good line of credit and credit cards, so I could go for probably several months using that, but it's not really sustainable.
Income was all most Canadians had.
Most of the folks that are going to be laid off are not making $100,000 a year or $150,000 a year and have a big savings account. Most of them are making $12, $14, $15 an hour. They have no savings. They live paycheck to paycheck.
And ironically, Canada may not now be able to afford to become a nation of savers. To speed and strengthen any economic recovery, Canada will have to spend. Spend on a meal out at a local restaurant. Spend on new clothes from a favorite retailer. Spend on a new home and all its furnishings. That's how Canadians will bring back the economy and put neighbors back to work. By spending, not saving.